Alright guys, we're going to walk the Harlem River Drive Viaduct for the very last time. So let's get started. I'm looking down here. This is the ramp we're going to walk down to get to the viaduct. And you'll notice that this is a rare sunny day. Please don't be fooled. They predicted a couple of hours of sunshine in the morning. So I made sure I left my house really early, got out here, I recorded the video, and I swear to God, by the time I got back home, the clouds had already taken over, and it's still totally cloudy out. So don't expect to see this again. Walking down the ramp, you can see the cobblestones here. This is the original design. A lot of times cars will pull up here if they have a flat tire or something. And many years ago, I myself actually pulled up here with a flat tire. The green railing is original. Here's a close-up. Continuing down, you're going to see this is a very bad design. A left-hand entrance ramp from Amsterdam Avenue. Always accidents here. Terrible design. I don't know if you can see this or not, but this is an add-on. This little concrete wall here, because before the wall was here, cars, I imagine, would crash right here. And they put this up so they deflect and don't hit that area over there. This is where I just came from. Amsterdam Avenue is on top. This traffic is coming from the George Washington Bridge. Here we have yet another homeless encampment. They will set up anywhere, any place they want. Now I'm on the opposite side, and you can see the homeless encampment over there. This is brand new. This ramp was rebuilt years ago. We're now going to head down the viaduct. You can see that the graffiti guys have been very busy as usual. We're now going to go around and we're going to make a sharp right. This turn is one of the very many reasons trucks are not allowed on this, because they often cannot navigate this curve. And once I saw one try and he flipped over. Actually flipped over. Now we're heading down. You can see right here the way this tree is growing out over the highway, that it's obvious 18-wheelers don't come down here or they would whack this tree. Here, the foliage is growing all over the place. They really should cut this down because it's getting in the way. We're heading down now toward the high bridge. You can see steel plates in the road here. There's a good look at one of those steel plates. Usually when you see these, it means that a pothole opened up and the base, the concrete section, fell through. And you can actually see the wire mesh and the roadway below. Later, we're going to go underneath and we're going to look up at this. There's the lighthouse, which was rebuilt. I took you in there a couple of years ago. Here's a pole that's been up for many years and is rusting. I'm surprised he survived because all the other ones have not. As you can see, here's an example of where there was another light pole and it rusted away. This is the stub of what used to be a ramp leading from the 1940 tunnel, which was demolished before I was even born. Here is the stub again, a better look at it. I always wondered what this was and only found out a few years ago. That is the retaining wall they put up. Otherwise, this would have been the ramp. Expansion joints, as you can see, are wearing out. That's the traffic coming down from the Amsterdam Avenue and George Washington Bridge where I just came from. And now we're going to head down the narrow ramp underneath the high bridge. Here's one of those rusted out poles, but this one's still standing. I can't give you an exact year on these. I do not know when they were put up, but I doubt that they're from 1940, but they're pretty darn old. There's a retaining wall underneath. This is part of Highbridge Park. We're now going under the High Bridge. Here's another example of one of those light poles that's rotted away. You have to understand that this viaduct is almost 100 years old. This is interesting, and I know exactly what happened here. Years ago, there was one of those see-through potholes here, and they had these big, huge steel plates. They were so big and huge that they were probably damaging cars that were coming down, worse than the pothole ever could. So they shut this down one entire weekend. They shut the ramp down here, and they dug it out, and they redid it. I remember it was a few years ago. The concrete is rotting away, which is very common on this ramp. You can see they tried repairing it once, but it didn't hold. The rebar underneath is rusted right through. This is the High Bridge, and you'll notice there is no room under here for expansion. I honestly don't know how the city is going to rebuild this without disrupting traffic in a major way. Even now, with 2 lanes open each way, it's a nightmare. It's only looking pretty clear now because this is early on a Sunday morning. As you can see, the roadbed heading down, which is southbound, is in poor condition. However, heading northbound on the upstroke, it's very smooth, and the reason is because it was repaved 2 different times. This was done 6 months before the other side, and I think they used a better quality asphalt on the other side. As you can see, potholes are forming, which is no surprise with all the rain we've had. And while I have a close-up of this shot, the divider here originally was just this concrete section. And over the years, the concrete rotted away, and about half of it was rotted away. And cars used to often crash and go over onto the opposite side. So they finally rebuilt the concrete, then installed the guardrail on top to help prevent that kind of thing. This is why they should not allow buses on this, especially school buses, but I constantly see them on. Okay, this section on the right here, the little walkway here, years ago, and I do mean about maybe 12 or 15 years ago, fell through. The entire section rotted right through and went down. So the city came, they cut this out, they made it new. They also cut out this section and rebuilt this, although you wouldn't know it by looking at it. Now, take a look at the steel. You're going to see gaping holes rotted right through the steel structure here that were never addressed. I don't know how clearly you can see it. This is right through here, okay? And afterwards, we're going underneath. I'm going to show you another view of this. Look, if you see greenery, this is greenery from the trees that are below. This is all right through. Now we're heading down some more. Another light pole rotted away and missing in action. The city is not bothering to resurface this, obviously, because they're going to demolish it very shortly and rebuild it. But even so, there's the problem that I don't think that this viaduct could stand the weight of an extra layer of asphalt. And I also don't think it could stand being milled, being scraped down to bare metal, and then having fresh asphalt put on top of that. It's just too far gone. Another example of the concrete rotting away. They tried fixing it once, and as you can see, it didn't hold up. This section here, by the way, is all brand new, repaved, smooth as silk. That's what they're going to do over here when they replace the structure. Now we're almost to the bottom. And now we're at the bottom, basically. We're looking back up where I came from. This is on the side of the structure. This is an entranceway because there's a void under here. And I've never in my life gotten under there. About 20 years ago, a section of the roadway collapsed. The steel beam let go, and they had this open for about a week. And this was before I had an iPhone or before I really was making videos, so I didn't go in there to check it out, but I really wish I had. Here's the structure I showed you earlier that's rotten away. Look here. Look. This is where I was walking before. You can see it's all rotted away. Here, look, near the top. Keep in mind, this is where I was walking. That's from the splash of the water and the road salt over the years. You can definitely see that. I'm not saying it's in danger of collapse or anything like that, but the city is aware of this and they are going to rebuild it. And I realize it needs to be done, but quite frankly, I'm disappointed. I zoomed in so you could get a better look at the rot here. This is the same area, but this is underneath. This is what I told you the city cut out and rebuilt about 12 years ago. You can see all the shiny steel is new, whereas the rusty stuff is what they left. Okay? This is all new, replaced. Let me tell you something. It was rotted right through before. There's a close-up. Even though this is brand new, you can see it's already rotting away because it has very serious drainage problems when it rains. The drains are always clogged up. This is a vault which is locked up that I showed you years ago. It was open, but there's really nothing earth-shattering in there. This is all rotted away. That under there is where I'm not going because there's a bunch of homeless people living in there, more than one, and I'm not going in. This is your high bridge. Again, that's the high bridge. We're going to head up now underneath the viaduct. And this is the only way to get there from the Harlem River Drive Speedway. You have to walk up this path. The path goes up here. You can also drive up if you're daring. I did that years ago, if you remember. This is the viaduct that I just got done walking on. There it is again. There's a fence here, a gate, but it's wide open. Anybody can come in and out. We're going to go in. But we're not going to go in the homeless encampment because they can be very territorial and they may be unhappy to see me. Okay? We are now under. This, as you can see, is showing advanced signs of rot and repair. That, when you see this kind of thing, this tells you that there's probably been a see-through hole that's been repaired with new concrete. That is obvious. Obvious holes that were cut out and refilled in by the city. You'll notice that most of them are on the south side, which is the side that we walk down. Now, we're going to walk back up the path, almost to the skate park, and we're going to make a left, go up the stairs. This is early Sunday morning, and I was alone, and there's nobody out here, at least not where I am now, but I'm going to be running into some people real soon. Not the kind of people you'd actually want to run into alone either. We'll be heading under the viaduct. You may recognize this because I was under here not too long ago. I promised myself I've got to stop coming under here alone, and I swear to God, you will not see me under here again. Okay, I'm done. I've given up. Here you can see some more advanced stages of rot. This is actually an extension of the viaduct. We're going to continue up. That's where I just came from. That's gated, but I can get in there. Oddly enough, you can actually see how the clouds are already starting to form here. They're not really gray and pendulous yet, but they will be by the time I get home. Continuing on, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not sure about that. All these places are sections where the highway fell through. The concrete crumbled and it just made a see-through hole. And over the years, they patched them back up and they made it drivable again. But, as I said, this structure is almost 100 years old. It's older than everybody watching this video. So, sad to say, I probably won't be going under here again. We're coming back up to Graffitiville. You may remember this from about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was up here when I was doing the High Bridge Park video. So we're going to come up here. The skate park would be straight ahead, but I'm going to make a left because it's quicker to where I want to go. See, this leads to the skate park. All right, I'm going to make the left. And we're going to go here through this desolate area. Now up ahead, I know there are several sets of steep stairs. And I remembered last time running into some folks up there. And I was a little concerned that once again I would run into some people. And sure enough, I did, even on a Sunday morning. That's looking back from where we just came. There's your viaduct. We're going to go up these stairs now. And unfortunately, I had to put my phone in my pocket once I got to the top of the stairs. And I'm sure you can figure out why. It's just playing it safe. And I thought to myself, I said, is it really worth it to continue coming to a place like this all alone when nobody wants to back you up and go with you? And I realize I've been playing with fire, so I probably will not be coming back here again. Which is not a big deal because they're going to replace the viaduct anyway, as I said, and there won't be any viaduct to photograph, just High Bridge Park. I mean, if anybody wants to go with me into High Bridge Park, that's fine and dandy. I'll risk it. But I'm done going alone, all right? You can even see this is where I just came from. See? That's your viaduct. I just came up to here. So yeah, guys, that's basically it for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it entertaining and enlightening. And if you ever come here, for God's sakes, please don't come alone. All right? I've done it. I know, man. I'm a person that normally doesn't care about this kind of thing. But, I mean, there's just so many times you can roll the dice and come up a winner. And I'm thinking maybe I should quit while I'm ahead. But I will still continue to do my exploration videos in other areas. I will tell you that if the city was not going to tear down this viaduct, I would probably roll the dice at least one more time and come here and do another video next year. In fact, today is May 25th, 2025. If this viaduct is still up next year, in 2026, in the month of May, I'll just have to come back and photograph it again. But I'm talking to a friend of mine who works for NYC DOT, and he said that the replacement of this viaduct is imminent. Okay? It's going to happen soon. So I wanted to get out here today and photograph it one more time. Remember, I'm Crazy New York Driver. You're not. Guys, go out there. Enjoy history. Look for things that nobody else looks for. Okay? Because it's not going to be around forever. And the city is very, very quick at phasing out the old and introducing the new. Again, I'm Crazy New York Driver. You're not. Thanks for watching. Rock on and peace.